Welcome, everybody, to the first Glockcast of 2018, and quite possibly the most important episode of 2018. And it is sponsored by Gladiator Custom Mouthguards. Saturday, 4:35, the Philadelphia Eagles host the Atlanta Falcons. Can the Eagles win the game? Nick Foles, Doug Peterson. We will break it down from every angle. We will also have a special guest on the show today. Former Eagles wide receiver Todd Pinkston will join the show. He played in 2 playoff games against the Falcons, including the 2004 NFC Championship. He knows what the Eagles are going through. We will pick his brain about Saturday's matchup and if he thinks the Eagles can pull off the upset. Yes, I said upset. We will talk all about it. We have a lot to do. I have a lot to say. So let's get started with the Eagles blueprint. I wrote about it last week, and I truly believe it. I do believe the Eagles will make a run. I really do. I wrote it. I believe it. There are 5 things that I believe the Eagles have to do to make a run, though. There's 5 things they have to do, and they got to do them all. There's no way around them. Okay, number 5, Nick Foles. Did you really think Nick Foles was a good quarterback? We said it on this show. We weren't sure if he ever was a good quarterback. Is it earth-shattering that the Eagles' offense has taken steps back without the MVP? No, people, it's not. Of course, they were going to take steps back. Of course, the offense wasn't going to look like the offense it was with Carson Wentz. This shouldn't be breaking news. This shouldn't be like earth-shattering stuff. So why the hell do I have to listen to people yell and scream about Foles that he sucks, the Eagles can't make a Super Bowl run? Get out of my face. Everyone knew he stunk. I thought we were all in agreement on this. I thought we were. Jordan, I'll get to you in a second. This is the thing. Foles doesn't have to be good, but he has to be functional. He can't be mishandling snaps. He can't be throwing terrible interceptions. He has to be somewhat functional on third down. Somewhat functional. The Falcons rank 16th in the league on third down on defense. He has to be able to get some first downs. He has to be functional. The Eagles were the best team in the league on third down before Wentz went out. Nick Foles will not be the reason why the Eagles win a football game in the playoffs, but he cannot be the reason why the Eagles lose. He can't. Because if he's the reason why they lose, then we're going to get buried. Okay, so that's number 5. Foles has to be somewhat functional. Number 4, you're seeing it all week. Us versus them. That's the mentality the Eagles have to have. That's the mentality I think they do have. Everybody in America knows the Eagles are the underdog. Everybody in America is picking against the Eagles. Us versus them. Philadelphia versus everybody. If you're not Philly, get out. That's the mindset the Eagles have to have. That's the mindset I have. Us versus them. They got a new slogan. We all we got. Well, they are all they got Saturday night, and they got to take care of business. Number 3, unleash the beast. Jay Ajayi, LeGarrette Blount. Ajayi had 130 yards on the Falcons defense this year. Him and Todd Gurley are the only 2 running backs to have over 100 yards against the Falcons this year. LeGarrette Blount, who nobody is talking about, but we sure as hell are on this show, is a playoff monster. Blount's career playoff stats, 111 carries, 470 yards, 8 touchdowns in 8 games. Unleash the beasts. Unleash them. Have to run the ball. Number 2, Doug Peterson. Doug's got to outcoach Dan Quinn. And that's not asking much. Dan Quinn sucks. That's not asking too much. He has to be able to outcoach Dan Quinn. He has to be able to outcoach Mike Zimmer. We did the Doug Peterson Would You Rather exercise week 2 of the NFL season after the KC loss. I said I would rather have Doug over Dan Quinn, over Zimmer. I don't know about Peyton, but I definitely over those 2. Doug's got to step up. Jim Schwartz needs to step up. Jim Schwartz's game plan last year against Atlanta was awesome. He's got to bring it again. They have to be able to outcoach the opponent. And number 1, the defense. Obviously, we know the defense has to step up. The defense needs to play nasty. They have to hold opponents, especially the Falcons, to under 20. Has to happen. By the way, they're giving up an average of 13.4 points per game at home this season. 14.5 if you want to take out the Dallas game. All of these things need to happen for the Eagles to make a Super Bowl run and to potentially win the Super Bowl. Which of these things are most important for Saturday night? For that, let me bring in a heartbroken, irrational, upset, but above all else, the number one Eagles fan in all of Philadelphia, Nick Foles' biggest fan, Jordan Bruni. What's up, Jordan?
Nick Foles' biggest fan. You couldn't even say that with a straight face. Look, Philadelphia, it's playoff time. We got home field advantage. We got to take this thing and run with it. Now, obviously, I'm not 100% confident, but that doesn't mean I don't think they can get it done.
So what's the biggest thing out of those 5 things I just mentioned? What's the biggest thing that has to happen for the Eagles to win Saturday? Not for the Super Bowl, for Saturday.
Well, here's a few things, and you touched on it pretty much. Peterson, okay. Doug Peterson, this is what NFL coaches do. Now, when you lose your MVP star-studded quarterback, what you got to do is you got to take these 2 weeks they had off, and you got to revamp. You got to kind of put some plays around Nick Foles. It can't be that high-powered, fast offense that Carson Wentz was running. This is Nick Foles. You got to kind of maybe put in some play-action passes, some screens, something that's not making Nick Foles throw the ball 30 or 40 yards down the field, because obviously we've seen the regression of Nick Foles in these past couple weeks.
I agree with you. Peterson has to outcoach Dan Quinn. And like I just said in my opening, that's not asking a whole freaking lot, is it really?
No. But and I got to really elaborate on when I say regression, because from the moment that Foles came in the fourth quarter against the LA Rams, he has regressed completely all the way to the Dallas Cowboys game. Now, they have a lot of pieces they can revamp. Now, here's another thing, and this is what they have to do. They can't put it all on Nick Foles, as you said. They got to go to Ajayi and Blunt and feed them that rock.
Unleash the beast.
And shove it down their throats. Get the game going early, okay? This is home field advantage. Get a game going early. Get the crowd in it.
Now, big thing with last year's Atlanta game, they held Devonta Freeman to 49 yards rushing, and they ran for 198 yards with the running backs, 10 yards with Wentz. But that's domination. That's what needs to happen on Saturday. They have to run the football.
Well, another thing is, and this is the part of the team that kind of builds confidence in me, is that defensive line. You got to go after Matt Ryan. They're going to shut down Devonta Freeman because they're the number one pass rush in the league. You got to shut down Matt Ryan so badly that he'll be picking grass and dirt out of his mouth for the next 4 weeks. That's how hard you got to come after him.
Now, why won't the Eagles win this game? And I'll tell you why I think they wouldn't win the game, but I want to hear what you think first.
If the only way the Eagles won't win this game is if they get caught behind. If the Falcons somehow get a 10-point to a 14-point to a 17-point lead, now I know it's the Falcons where they're known for blowing the whole big lead in the Super Bowl, but no, this is a whole different situation. Eagles can't get caught behind because Foles isn't the type of quarterback that's going to bring them back into the game. So you cannot force Foles to throw it more than 35 times.
Oh, absolutely not. And I kind of agree with that, and I'm going to take that a step further. Their defense has to step up. Of my 5 things that I mentioned, the defense is number 1 for me. The defense has to shut down Atlanta for the Eagles to win this game. Like you just said, if the Eagles are losing 14-0, that game is over. It's over.
Who do you think the eyes are going to be on defense? Because I know who my eyes are going to be on. It's going to be Jalen Mills. Because they're going to put it
from an Eagles standpoint. Yeah,
they're going to put him on Julio Jones. Okay, they're not putting Darby on because of the inch difference.
Last year, Jones got his yardage but didn't get in the end zone. They have to keep Julio out of the end zone. If it wasn't for a 76-yard bomb to Taylor Gabriel, that Atlanta offense, which was much better last year, didn't do shit. That's the Eagles' defense that needs to step up on Saturday.
Thing is, this is the unique thing about Julio Jones, and everybody knows who Julio Jones is. He's one of the best receivers in the league. But one of the things he's really good at is when he's up against a corner, corners can't jam him because he's so physical to get off the line. Now, Jalen Mills has to study that and somehow, figure out a game plan when he's coming in.
Yeah. And what do you think about this us versus them? You like this? I know this is your kind of thing. This is right up your alley. As an Eagle fan, as like a Rocky Balboa fan, this is you, right?
This is Philly versus the world. Everybody hates us, and I don't care at all because I hate them too. Okay? This is us versus them. This is Philly versus the world, and we're going to try to run things.
Dude, the Eagles really, I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen everybody on one side before in my life. Like, they do. Lane Johnson said, I stopped talking to the media for a while because when Wentz went out, you guys treated us like we're the Browns. That's how the Eagles are treated right now.
Well, and I'm so defensive about this team. Like I'm so passionate about the Eagles and the city of Philadelphia. So from a standpoint where we're talking about the media and other fans, I defend the Eagles completely because this is my squad, this is my city. But it puts a lot a hate in your heart when people are disrespecting your squad.
Absolutely.
And however, it is deservedly so as of lately. But I can't say that to them. I'll say that to us on the inside. You know what I mean?
And as soon as I saw the line, I was like, you got to be shitting me, dude. The Eagles are – and it made me so mad that Nick Wright was right about the fact that the Eagles would be an underdog. And I saw the line. I was like, damn, that's really disrespectful. Because if Wentz was playing Saturday, they'd be a 7-point favorite. So I'm thinking to myself, 7 points. Wentz is worth 10 points in Vegas. I think something's up with that line a little bit. I think Vegas is like begging people to take Atlanta. Dude, look at Atlanta. They're going to romp the Eagles. I'm not so sure about all that.
Well, the most disrespectful thing I heard was, Falcons beat the Rams. Now they get a bye week, basically. We'll give you a bye week. We'll give you the biggest headache bye week you've ever had.
Bomani Jones said this was the luckiest thing that ever happened in the history of the Falcons playing the Eagles this week. I'm like, what, dude? I don't know. Like I said, what Lane Johnson said, people really do treat them like they're the Browns with Foles. They're 13-3.
Very true.
So, I don't think they're that bad, dude. I really don't. And I have full faith in the Eagles. They have to do something. They have to win nasty. They have to win ugly. It's not going to be the same team with Wentz. We know that, though. They beat the Giants. They beat the Raiders. Yeah, it was ugly against the Raiders, but they did it. That Cowboys game, I'm striking that from the record. That doesn't even count. I'm looking at the Raiders game. I'm looking at the Giants.
Well, the Cowboys game. Keep touching on the Cowboys game.
They did lose the Cowboys game.
Yeah, they lost the Cowboys game. But
I'm not counting that.
They were running a vanilla offense, very generic system. That was nothing. That doesn't mean anything.
One other thing, it's going to be like 55 degrees on Saturday. Believe it or not, I actually think that helps the Eagles. Call me crazy. I don't think Foles can play in the cold, dude.
Yeah, what have I
don't think you can play in the cold.
Yeah, I don't think he's very...
Everybody's like, oh, man, I hope it's like negative 10 degrees. Dude, I don't think Nick Foles is going to be able to throw the ball in negative 10.
Carson Wentz, I would love it if it was like 5 degrees. But Nick Foles,
you're right.
Different story. First of all, he's from Texas, right?
I don't know. No, Foles went to Arizona.
Yeah, he went to Arizona, but he's from...
I think he's from California-ish area.
I think he's from Texas.
Wherever he's from, it must not be cold because
he's not a North Dakota Bison.
But against the Giants, it was cold, but it was like 40 degrees and sunny cold. Foles was on fire. You put him against Oakland on Christmas night, below zero, he was horrific. In Dallas, he couldn't hit anybody. I still say if Torrey Smith caught that ball against Dallas, nobody would be even talking about the Eagles not going to the Super Bowl. The Eagles would probably be a favorite in this game. But here we are. So we're going to get more into the Eagles game here at the end of the show. But right now, on the line, we have a special guest, our second big guest for the Glockcast, and we are so proud to have him. Former Eagles wide receiver and current wide receivers coach for Austin Peay State University, number 87, Todd Pinkston. Todd, thank you for joining the show. How are you today?
How's it going, man? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for being on the show. Todd, we're gearing up for a playoff game here in Philly. You played in Philadelphia during the best time period in franchise history. You also played with a lot of great players. But in 2002, you lost Donovan McNabb, and in 2004, you lost T.O. Obviously, this current Eagles team has lost Carson Wentz. What was the mindset in your locker room after such big losses, and how were your teams able to overcome those losses?
Well, I think it was the veteran leadership that we had with the like Troy Vincent and Bobby Taylors and all those older guys that were there prior to me getting there. But it was always the next man up. When we lost Donovan in 2002, A.J. Feely stepped up and filled in, and once T.O. went down, most of everybody else filled in their place and kept doing their job.
Yeah, 2002 was an amazing run because you guys lost Donovan early in the season, and obviously were able to get him back. That was just an amazing run, and then T.O. was a little different. Obviously, you lost him later in the season. Now, most people have written the Eagles off without Carson Wentz. Have you written the Eagles off as well?
I never doubted him. That's the experience that Coach Doug has for his team, and the tradition that you have with being in a Philadelphia Eagle. It's not all about one person. You know what I'm saying? It's a collective group that is going to sit there and keep rallying around each other, and good things going to happen for them.
And how can the Eagles make a run, in your opinion? It's going to be tough. How can they make a run here?
Well, anytime when you're in a Final Four in the NFL playoffs, or anything got going on, every game gonna be tough. It's not the regular season anymore. Everything gonna happen a lot faster. It's just the mindset is, you got to keep the confidence, and regardless if it's special team, offense, or defense, well, now you got to turn it up another notch. And that's one thing that we pride ourselves on when we was playing with the Eagles. When I was playing with the Eagles, well, let's get this thing done, and overcome adversity, and something happened, don't get down about it, and go on to the next play. And Coach Breed was good with that, and we never doubted ourselves throughout the course of the playoffs.
Yeah, hopefully that's how this team's mindset will be. Like this Eagles team in 02, 03, and 04, you had a bye before your first playoff game. How was that mindset? Did the bye help? Did the bye hurt? How did the bye affect you?
What the bye was, it helped. Taking that you only have one bye week, and that's during the course of the season. But it kind of helped because the season is long. If you get that first bye week and everybody come back fresh, and it's an extra time to prepare for our next opponent, it gave us a little slight advantage. But I think at the end of the day, the bye week also helped because if you got somebody that's been injured in mid-season, you get a chance to get them back.
Let's go back to 02 and 04 a little bit. You played in the playoffs against the Falcons in both of those years. What are your memories from those games, especially the 2004 NFC Championship game?
Well, one thing I can remember was cold.
Yeah, it was a snowstorm the day before the championship game.
It was cold, but that mindset of us coming in, man. We was always the underdog. The Falcons was hot, but at the end of the day, it was all about Brian Dawkins said it best. Give us some respect that we deserve, and we never got that. And that's the mentality that we had going throughout the course of that season. Thinking that we had a run going on. We went 7-0. We lost to Pittsburgh. Then we went on another run when we won seven more. But then at the end of the day, is we still didn't get the respect that we deserve. And going to the playoffs, that was our whole mindset. Is, man, let's get this thing done, get some respect, and let's make a run and then go get this chip.
And that 2004 run was one hell of a run. My fondest memory as an Eagle fan. Now, you played with some great players during your time here in Philadelphia, but who was the best player you ever played with?
I played with a lot. You want to talk about the offensive side, defensive side, or special teams? Which one you want to start with?
Anybody that comes off the top of your mind.
Well, playing alongside Deuce Staley, Troy Vincent, Brian Westbrook, also Donovan McNabb, and all these guys that groomed me. Once I got into the league and we made a run, I can't pinpoint just one in particular. But those guys, as far as the Brian Westbrook, the Correll Buckhouse, Deuce Staley, and James Thrash, and T.O., and all those guys that I came in, and they were the guys that was veteran that had that pedigree as far as winning. Those are the guys I really enjoy being around and playing with.
Such a great team, some great memories. And who was one player that you dreaded to play against?
Pretty much Brian Dawkins.
In practice,
the Hall of Famer to be.
Yeah, absolutely. You better get in.
Right.
And
I played against a lot of guys, man. The guys that really made me better was the Bobby Taylor, the Al Harris, the Troy Vincent, the guys that made me better every day. Then along came Lito Shepherd and Sheldon Brown. Playing against those guys every day and every practice, it made me better and gave me confidence throughout the course of my career.
Todd, you're now coach at Austin Peay State University. How has the transition been from player to coach? And would you like to, get into the NFL, potentially coaching one day here?
Well, hopefully I get an opportunity to get in the NFL, and I'm just taking my baby steps right now. But the transition from playing to coaching is totally different, especially in college when you got to develop a relationship with the families and that player, and hopefully a chance to get the player to your school. And if it don't happen, then how do you transition? Still having that mindset as far as that kid's family was good, even though he's not even coming to my university. So But at the end of the day, it's still all about the kids and then respecting yourself while you're out there.
Would like to see you in the NFL one day. I think you'd be a hell of a coach. Speaking of coaches, I have to ask you about Andy Reid, your old coach. What happened to the Kansas City Chiefs this past week? And will Andy ever win a Super Bowl, this poor guy?
Well, he will win, and like I said, you have a lot of miscues, and a lot of times it was miscommunication that I saw of, and I don't know. I don't know what really happened. I don't know if it's different play calling, and but like I said, I don't have the answer for that. Only that organization, that coaching staff know.
Yeah, that was a tough one there. Okay, I'm going to get you out of here on this one, Todd. Who wins Saturday between the Eagles and Falcons, and why?
Oh, Eagles.
All
Eagles.
right.
I bleed the green, and I believe in them, and I just know it's going to be a pretty good game, and I know eventually it's a lot of plays going to be made, and hopefully the Eagles will turn it out.
All right, sounds good, Todd. Thank you so much for joining the show.
All right, thanks for having me.
All right, thanks so much. And that was Todd Pinkston, former Eagles wide receiver Todd Pinkston. And he was brought to you by Gladiator Custom Mouthguards. Gladiator Custom Mouthguards is the proud sponsor of Mouthpiece Sports Talk. With a custom mouthguard, you can create an identity that's all your own. From color, logo, and number, you can build your mouthguard for your game face. Visit gladiatorguards.com today and complete your game face with the Gladiator Custom Mouthguard. Todd Pinkston checking in. How about that? Our second big guest on the Glockcast.
It's amazing hearing from him. This is perfect timing. Playing against the Falcons, he knows all about what the Eagles are going through right now. It's perfect.
Yeah, he beat them twice. And Pinkston's been in the Eagles situation. Like, he knows what the Eagles are going through. So it's kind of cool to have him on the show. And what a nice guy. Glockcast blowing up. How about it?
Yeah, man. Like I said, he played with some of the great players. He played with T.O., McNabb, Westbrook. He comes from a good cast, man. It's cool to hear from him.
Absolutely. Now, as the head fan, I want to hear about your thoughts from 2002 when the Eagles beat the Falcons. The last time the Eagles played the Falcons in the divisional playoff round, it was at that stadium. And then, of course, the 2004 NFC Championship game against the Falcons.
Well, I'm not going to lie. They had a lot more superstar power back then. I'm not taking anything away from the team we have now, but they had Dawkins, they had T.O., they had two of these, great, who are both going to be probably Hall of Famers this year. I mean, I'll never forget that time because that was the Eagles' domination era, well, as dominant as we've seen it, with those 3 or 4 years.
This current team reminds me of a little bit of the 02 team, more so than the 04 team. Because the 04 team was like the culmination of that era. 02 was when we were like, holy shit, the Eagles are really good. We got home field throughout. That was the first time we had home field throughout. Obviously, we lost the year before to the Rams in the conference championship in 01. But I was like, oh my God, we have home field throughout. It's the last year of the vet. We're closing the vet down after the NFC title game. That year was awesome. And if you remember in that game, 2002, I wrote about it yesterday, that was a defensive battle. The Eagles were winning that game 13-6 late in the fourth quarter, and then they hit James Thrash on a 4th and 1 for a touchdown to make it 20-6. But that was a defensive battle. That was the game McNabb came back from the ankle injury, and they were out of sync. And it was the defense that carried them in that game. And they won ugly. That's kind of what's got to happen on Saturday this time in the divisional round against Atlanta.
Yeah, but that game the next week, screw that game because nothing but bad memories from there. 04 was the year. Because that was the year we made the run for the Super Bowl. Fortunately, we lost. But that's, in our lifespan, the closest we ever seen the Eagles to hoisting a Lombardi trophy.
Yeah, and we beat Atlanta. So we do have some history here with the Atlanta Falcons. Let's keep the good mojo
And I let their fans know that over and over again.
Okay, now I want to get into coaching a little bit with you here. I want to get your thoughts on John Gruden back in the NFL. Gruden dog, back. I love it.
I love Gruden, man. And I loved him up in the booth, too. There was a lot of people who are hating on him and this and that about how he's so pleasing about every player. I love Gruden. I love him as a coach and just as a person. He's a football
I think
guy.
It's great for the league that Gruden's going to be back in the NFL. I wish more of these guys would come back.
Well, they needed him a little bit because they're moving to Vegas soon, and a lot of those fans are going to be jumping ship. I think he's going to be able to bring some of them back on.
10 years, $100 million. The Gruden dog, it's going to be great to see him back on the sidelines. And speaking of coaches, Andy Reid, huh? We said it with Todd Pinkston, but my God, Andy Reid. How can you blow that game, dude? How about you just run the ball? Try it out. I said it. I was texting my one boy, and I was like, dude, he keeps throwing bombs to Tyreek Hill when they're up 14-3 for no reason. It's like, how about you just run the ball and finish this lifeless Titan team off?
You know, we've been through a lot of years with this guy. And, you know, after all these years, when he says the time is yours, the time's not ours, okay? And it wasn't for the Chiefs fans either.
Colin Cowherd, too. We're so stupid here in Philadelphia. We ran Andy Reid out of town.
Yeah.
Hey, jackass. That's what I've been dealing with my whole life.
Well, thank God Seth Joyner already made him apologize for all that crap.
Yeah. And you know what they're going to announce on Thursday, most likely? The Eagles will be playing in London, and the early word is that it's going to be September 23rd, Wembley Stadium against the Jaguars.
And I will be there. I will, with a doubt, be there. That's on my bucket list.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Hopping over the
That's
pond.
a good question. Will you want to go to London to see the Eagles? Will you make the trip?
It's a once-in-a-lifetime
Throw that
thing.
out there to everybody.
Hopping over the pond, over to Europe.
The Eagles won't lose a home game. It'll be a road game. So that's
it'll
good,
be the Jaguars because they can't sell out anyway.
And the Sixers are also in London.
Yeah, they're actually out there
Thursday, 3:00 Eastern time.
Yup.
Against the Celtics. So it would be perfect. They can announce the Eagles and have the Sixers. It'll be the whole thing.
Yeah.
I guess it is real. The Eagles will be playing in London. I mean, every team has to play, and look out for that on Thursday. But let's get back to the playoffs here a little bit. We'll save the Eagles for last. I'll give my prediction, but everyone else is going to give theirs for a special Friday morning game preview article unlike any other. So Saturday night, following the Eagles, you got the lifeless Titans who had life somehow. Mike Mularkey should have been fired, but he isn't fired because they won the game against the Patriots, the dismantling, crumbling New England Patriots. The crumbling, dismantling of the New England Patriots are favored by 13 points in this game. So I don't know how.
What would they have been up by before the dismantling?
If Brady and Belichick weren't mad at each other, would they be favored by 100? So who do you got in this game?
In that game?
Formality.
Look, man, I'm sober right now. Okay, the Patriots are going to smoke them out of the water.
Absolutely,
it's going to be. It's probably going to be 31-7.
Well, we know the Patriots are going to win, and I also know something. I'm not going to watch 1 second of this game because I'll be so worried about what the Eagles did or didn't do. I'll probably be either drinking in happiness or I'll be drinking in sorrow. So I probably won't watch much of the Titans-Patriots game. Sunday, 1:00, Jags at the Steelers, the rematch. Jacksonville buried Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh early this year. Steelers are favored by 7.5, though.
They're not going to be getting 5 interceptions from Ben Roethlisberger. It's not going to be happening.
Yeah, I like the Steelers big time.
Well, all the Steelers are like at full health right now. They're gonna come out firing.
Steelers are gonna bury them.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, hopefully, the winner of this game will be coming to Lincoln Financial Field. Saints at the Vikings. The Vikings are a 4-point favorite in this game.
And this hasn't changed at all with me. This has been like this for the past season. I don't have much respect for the Vikings. It's Case Keenum. He's the only quarterback that is in the playoffs right now without any playoff experience. The Saints are going to come in, and they're going to come in there hot. It'll probably be about a 23-14 game, and that's what scares me because if the Eagles win this game, we're going to be bringing back the Saints again, and Drew Brees is a scary, bad man in the postseason. He
is. He looked great again, and they barely used the running backs, and they still look dominant.
Yeah, Kamara looked. He actually had a touchdown, but he didn't have that much rushing yards.
Although Cam, almost came back and won that game. That would have been interesting. I would have kind of been pissed had the Panthers won that game. Not because I don't want the Saints to be out, but I would have probably rather have played the Panthers than the Falcons. So I would have been a little aggravated had the Panthers won that game.
From a standpoint, when you think about our strengths, I think we match up better against Atlanta than Carolina because I don't know if our defense can really handle a fast-moving, very mobile quarterback. We're going to be against Matt Ryan. He's not that mobile. And you know what? Matt Ryan is 1-3 playing in Philadelphia.
Yep. 3-3 overall.
3-3 overall, but that Philadelphia stat, and this isn't Hollywood. This isn't LA. This is Philadelphia. This is a tough place to play. We're a hostile environment. It's one of the toughest places to play in the league. Okay? We're going to come out there. We're going to be loud. We're going to be standing on third down. That's a big thing of mine. Stand up on third down.
Hype.
They're going to be hyping us up all game. This is it. Bring it on, Eagle fans. Do it now. Get hyper for this game, okay? Get on your feet. Just take it in, okay? We got to do our part in the stadium. We got to do our part. I'm not sitting down on third down.
Either am I. I'm going to get you an Eagles chant to end the show, but all right. I'm going to give my prediction here. I'm going to save yours for the Friday article. Have Rob, we'll have Hudson, we'll have Dunphy. But since this is my show, I'm going to give my prediction. And I'm going to tell you what right now, I'm feeling pretty good about this game. I am. I don't think Nick Foles is going to be mishandling snaps. I don't think he's going to throw bad interceptions. I think the Eagles will run the football. I think Doug Peterson will outcoach Dan Quinn. Now, this is going to be a tough game. There's no question about it. Falcons are a good team. But the Falcons are playing their fourth game on the road out of their last 5, second straight. I've said all year that I don't like the Falcons. I've been picking against the Falcons all year. I can't change that now. I think the Eagles run it down their throat. I think it's close throughout the entire game. But I do think the Eagles squeak this one out 20-17. No touchdowns for Foles, but no interceptions. I think he plays the perfect Jeff Hostetler role. He beats Matty Ice, and the Eagles will host the NFC Championship game next Sunday.
He game manages what you're saying.
Just game manages.
Yep.
Doug out coaches them. I think there's going to be a pick 6 in this game. You could take that one to the bank. I think the Eagles win this game 20-17. I'm not backing off of it. The Eagles will win against the Atlanta Falcons Saturday night, Lincoln Financial Field.
Shut them haters up, right?
It's going to be a fun Sunday should the Eagles win the game, because a lot of people are going to get a lot of payback via Twitter.
Yeah, I'm glad the game's on
What do you
Saturday
think about
night.
that prediction?
I'm right up there with you. I don't think there's much I would change about your prediction at all.
I think it's going to be low scoring. It's going to be a tough knockdown, drag-out game. I don't think the Falcons have enough to win another game on the road, though.
Yeah, they've been so abused the past couple of weeks. I mean, they've been through in the trenches and battles.
They didn't play that well against the Rams. They gave up 362 yards of offense. It's not like the Falcons were playing unbelievable defense. The Rams fumbled 2 kickoffs, for God's sake. I think the Eagles will force them into turnovers. I think the Eagles' defensive line will step up. I think the Eagles in general will step up. They've had forever to prepare for this game.
You got to cause some type of frustration in that offense early in the game and make the team start bickering with each other. You know, I love when that happens, when you cause so much of a commotion that they're on the sidelines, kind of figuring out what the hell they can do to get the ball, past the first down marker. We need a game like that.
I agree. I think it will be a knockdown, drag-out game, and I can't see the Eagles losing. I really can't, unless Foles is just throwing terrible interceptions and the Eagles basically shit the pants. I think the Eagles will win this game. I think they'll force Matt Ryan into bad decisions, and they step up, and we will host the NFC Championship game here in Philadelphia. Thank you, Jordan, for being with me here today. Thank you, Todd Pinkston, for being here. MouthpieceSportsTalk.com. Q&A with Jeff Schultz from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Keep an eye out for that later this week. Friday morning, the game preview, including Jordan's prediction. Saturday night at some point, you'll get the game review. Hopefully next week, we'll be back here talking about an Eagles NFC Championship game. We are trying to bring legit sports talk back. 2018 is going to be a great year. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Todd Pinkston. Go Birds!
EAGLES, Eagles!